16 new investors were announced at the East London Automotive Launch. Now, their investment is estimated to be worth 3.3 billion rand and is expected to create employment opportunities in the Buffalo City Metro. We now go back to Newzroom Afrika's Sipha, Kema, who is at the automotive manufacturing plant. Sipha, you certainly are making the rounds today. You are now at Mercedes-Benz. So what do they do where you are?
Well, Atabi, this is an auto body manufacturing plant. You can hear, of course, from the sounds with what's happening here. But I'm just going to show you, I think some of the robotics here are extremely interesting and how quick and swift they are putting together, of course. What I'm seeing currently, this would look like some form of engine, actually, to my far right there. It looks like it's some form of engine that is actually being put together. Where we were previously, you just missed it. We were seeing actually bonnets of cars, the structure, the inside of a bonnet of a car, as well as the boot as well. I mean, it is really something that's great to watch. Now, I know there's been a lot of conversation around robotics taking over jobs and also, you know, contributing to the unemployment. But also at the same time, these same robots have to be operated by people. So human factor will always play a role when it comes to production plants, most specifically when it comes to cars as well. Now, of course, we are joined now by the East London Industrial Zone CEO, Sipha Kondlo, and it's going to tell us about this investment opportunity worth 3.3 billion rands that East London has found itself. 16 new investors, and we just spoke to the MEC of Economic Development in the Eastern Cape. A great start, I mean, great build-up for the Eastern Cape, for the Buffalo City Metro, but, you know, for the IDZ as well.
Indeed, this is a very exciting time for us as the East London IDZ. We are seeing a third expansion of the automotive supplier park that we have developed since inception as the East London IDZ. As you can see, we are right at the cutting edge of manufacturing, supporting an industry that is globally competitive with new equipment, robotics, and we are very much excited about the fact that we are bedding down the value chain in the automotive sector and strengthening our competitiveness as a country and as a province in this sector.
Now, of course, looking at some of the new partnerships and the investments that were announced today, some would even say, I mean, these companies, they seem like foreign-owned companies from Europe, from America, instead of South African companies. But, of course, knowing that the smaller companies in South Africa are also benefiting, though.
That is true. The decisions for the procurement by an OEM that is an international player is done centrally. That's why you see most of these being international companies. But the good thing is that they are actually employing our own young people, training them in the latest technologies and building skills. But on top of that, there are underlying players within the value chain that get to be empowered. We get our own second and third tier suppliers that get to be part of this global value chain. And they inherit and they are able to get the cascading of the technologies and the best practices from an international players that they are now partnering with.
All right, so thank you so much, Mr. Kondlo. That's Sipha Kondlo from the East London Industrial Zone, of course, telling us, Tammy, that, even though some of the companies that were announced actually are, own international companies, but the bottom line is that the employment opportunities they give to South Africa, not only that, but training young South Africans, as I mentioned before. I mean, this is an industry, automotive is an industry that a lot of South Africans have not tapped into on a commercial level. So this will ensure that with the training that they are equipped with, more South African companies will be able to break within that sector, and then eventually maybe South Africa can have its owned company that manufactures car and body parts of the vehicles.
Certainly that being the ultimate one. Thank you very much, Sipha Kondlo, for that crossing. Specifically, very good news at a time such as this when the unemployment figures just keep going up and up. So when more employment is created and more investment in the country is seen, certainly a light there in the midst of the darkness.